Hi guys, and sorry that I haven't been as active on the channel, but I want to let you guys know that I am working on uploading all of my Curaçao videos, talking about it as well. That's what this first video is going to be about. Today I'm going to be talking about my trip to Curaçao, but I'm only going to be talking about day one. Day one, what it included, what the dives were like, the reef we dove on. To start off, I'll just give you a quick summary of day one before I show you the highlights of my footage from day one. We're going to be talking about what the dives were like. So there were 3 dives on day one. Each of them were basically just buoyancy checks. We didn't do any actual data collection on these dives. They were the first dives that we did the day after we arrived, and these dives were basically just to make sure everybody was doing good, everybody knew what they were doing, just basically check out everybody's buoyancy, make sure nobody's overweighted, underweighted, all of that jazz, make sure nobody's tumbling into the reef, make sure nobody's shooting to the surface, all of that. And it was just an amazing experience because it was not the best reef that we visited there, but it was the first time most of us, if not all of us, have dove on a coral reef before, and it was phenomenal, like absolutely beautiful experience. First day was amazing, just first look into a coral reef up close and personal. So the first day of diving was done at this place right here, which is also the place we stayed at. It is called Karma Bee Foundation. It is a research station in Curaçao that works with coral reefs. Every single dive that we did on the trip was a shore dive, which means we quite literally just put on our gear on shore and walked right into the water and swam out, and the reef was right there. Now, what I'm going to do is tell you about some of the creatures that you've seen in my previous video. If you have not watched the video of all my uncut footage, I suggest you go do that first so you will get a glimpse of what I'm looking at, because a lot of this is just screenshots from specific parts in the videos. But I highly suggest that you check out that if you have not first. And when you are finished watching that, I suggest you come back here and watch this video so you know what is that fish that I saw in that part of the video? What is this right here? What is this coral? Now I am going to be making a guide to all of the corals, all of the fish, all of the invertebrates, and everything that I had to learn to go to Curaçao on that study abroad trip. What that means is I'm going to be posting little guides of the 80 plus fish, the 40 plus corals that I had to learn. Kind of like just quick, like show some pictures of them, just so you'll know what you're seeing. As you watch some of my other videos, you'll be like, oh, that's a French angelfish, that's a queen parrotfish, things like that. But anyways, let's get right into showing you guys the highlights of day one. I'm going to be highlighting the cool creatures that we've seen in Curaçao on day one, starting with this right here is an example of a sponge. Now, if you know my channel, we have talked about sponges. We did a little section on those. Also in that same picture, there was a blue tang. Many of you know what a blue tang is. Very popular aquarium fish. There are giant sea anemones in almost every other corner, nook, or cranny found in Curaçao. There's also a species of coral there called Parietes astrioides right here. And right here we have an example of a grunt, which is a porkfish. Here is an example of a tube sponge. There were lots of tube sponges. Some of the sponges were very large. Right here we have a fish called a sergeant major. It is a type of damselfish. There were quite a few of those. Now you're going to be seeing a lot of these. These are called gorgonians. They're a species or a kind of soft coral. This right here was a very common coral species found there, known as Monastrea cavernosa. This small fish is called a blue chromis. Its cousin, the brown chromis, was everywhere in Curaçao. This is a colony of Meandrina meandrites, which is also maize coral. These are a group of yellow goatfish, which also look like yellowtail snappers, but alas, they are not. These fish were very common throughout Curaçao reefs, and they have these two little tentacles that pop out when they're feeding. This right here is a type of parrotfish. I cannot tell what species it is, but it is a parrotfish. This is a French grunt, although it could very well be a Caesar grunt as well. This is another example of kind of like some of the coral restoration that's going on. They have pipes and crates and everything everywhere to promote coral growth. As you can see, there's a brain coral colony growing on this pipe that they have laid there. I was not sure what this fish was, although it looks like a type of surgeon fish. Right here we have a type of brain coral. I will be going more in depth into brain coral later on, but that's a brain coral. The reefs were very, very beautiful, as you have probably seen. Lots of diversity. Right here is a Creole wrasse. It is very commonly seen on these reefs, and this is actually not the last stage of the life cycle, but the middle phase. This is another picture of it. They were very common. As you can see here, there's a very large gorgonian in the center of the photo. Here we have a trumpet fish. They were very common and would not move if you got close to them. We have some more yellow goatfish, as you can see here. They were very frequently seen. This right here is a lizard fish. I have had a video made about these guys before. Here is an ocean surgeon fish. As you can probably tell, it looks like a blue tang, but different colors. Now we're getting into some of the videos. This is a Christmas tree worm that I decided to touch. Every time you would touch them, they would kind of like pop in and out of their little homes. They're very common. This was a beautiful French angelfish, one of the first large fish that I saw on my trip to Curaçao. French angelfish were not very common, and when you did see them though, it was a treasure. Like, they are beautiful. This is a very, very large barrel sponge that I saw. As you probably saw a second ago as well, there was a small butterfly fish that's been swimming around it. But this barrel sponge was huge, easily bigger than me, if not almost as big as me. And finally, the last video is this video of a small golden tail moray eel that came out to say hello to us, almost as if somebody had fed this guy before. He was really, really cool. First eel that I saw in Curaçao. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you have any fish or anything that you see in the video that you want to know more about, feel free to let me know and I can make a video individually about these fish later on. But stay tuned, because the next videos that I'm going to post are going to be guides to the things that I saw in Curaçao. The fish, the invertebrates, the corals, pretty much give you an idea of everything that I saw, and I highly suggest you watch those before I post any other videos. Thank you guys so much, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.